Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're all doing well. So yeah, today we're going to be working on some map stuff. I think I was working on that last stream, I think that was on Saturday, right? So I made some progress on that. I'll show you everything that's going on there, but before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. So go ahead and do that if you want to support the game, that would be much appreciated. And I also have the Patreon available. I just released, well, this is a couple days old now, but I released a video a couple days ago, exclusive early access for videos for Patreon members. You also get some other nice perks at both tiers, but the $15 tier here will give you unlimited course access, and then your name will be included in the Alchemortis credits. And I may be adding, like, retroactively another perk to anyone that has subscribed to this, but still thinking about that. Just a little teaser for you, I guess. And then I also have my Udemy courses available for sale. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So the most recent one here is creating an online cooperative multiplayer game. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I also have the other courses like I mentioned. And of course, you could join the Discord, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, all that extra good stuff. That helps a bunch too. And yeah, I just released, so speaking of that video, so Patreon members got access to that video a couple days early. I just released it publicly to YouTube. It's a short that just basically goes over how I animate my pixel art characters in just a minute, basically. So hopefully you find that useful. I don't know if it's really meant for my audience because you all know how I animate my characters, but hopefully it reaches a wider audience and gets some eyeballs on Alchemortis. And also, hopefully it's helpful, but we'll see. And now the cat is being annoying. Hello, cat. How about you sit with me so you can stop being annoying? Yeah, that's a good idea. Is that a good idea? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Good morning, Asymmetrics. Always good to see you. Welcome back. Hello. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name, so I just have to generally say hello to you, but glad to see you again. Dusty, welcome back. Always good to see you here as well. Zombie Biscuit, hello, hello. Hello, High Law. We do be mapping, yes indeed. Good morning, Dev Ghost. Good morning, Ninja Link. Have you used Spine, Dragon Bones, or otherwise another third party or have Godot's animation tools always sufficed? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Spine, Dragon Bones are for like bone-based animation. I did at one point in Gunforge development have I did animation with bones, but I just did it with the Godot bone 2D bone thing, and that was fine. So I haven't done bone-based animations in a while, so I've definitely found Godot just to be fine for, you know, the kind of animations that I do. I haven't really felt the need to find a third-party tool to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, so I think it's okay. Hello, Blair William. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hello, Meep. Good to see you again. All right, let me show you what I got going on. So I'll go over kind of the changes that I made to the map, both visually and technically, and then I think we'll try to get some decorations in place for the third region as well. So basically, the map decorations for this first region here are the same. You've got like the dead trees and the short grass here, as well as some other things, ponds and whatnot. And as you move into the second region here, what you'll notice is that the trees change. These are like leafy trees now. There is like a little blending here, so you'll sometimes see the second region's trees kind of encroaching on the first region here. So it does add a little bit of blending. But then, you know, I've got this new tower sprite here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a tower for the second region. The grass is taller and has like flowers in it, which I think is pretty cool. What else? So I've got a couple of tree variants. One is like an evergreen tree, just like a triangle shape, and then a bunch of different leafy tree varieties. I also had other big decorations. Oh yeah, I've got like these swords here with the helmet on one of the swords as a decoration. This is also here. This is supposed to be like a log with an axe in it. I don't know how readable that is, but these are just map decorations. They don't need to be super, super perfect, but you can see as we go up to the third region here, there are no decorations for this third region because I haven't defined those resources yet. So yeah, so the way that this is working from a technical standpoint now is I reworked a bunch of things. So what I did is I defined these resources now, which are like decoration placement resources, and I could define all kinds of stuff in here. So first and foremost, I can define what notoriety region this resource applies to. The step is basically the gap between each decoration. So if a step of 4 is like, there's going to be roughly 4 pixels between each placement of the decoration. And then I can also define a noise in here, which determines how the decoration gets placed, as well as the min and max noise sample cutoffs for when to place that. So basically this is saying that this is going to place its decorations if the noise that gets sampled is between 0.3 and 1.0. So that would basically be the bright white regions are the places where the decoration is going to be placed. And then I've got a couple of different settings here. So I can either place tiles or I can place scenes. Things like the campfire are a scene because there's a little shader that's being applied to the smoke to make it look nice. So that can't really be a tile map texture. So this is a standalone scene, but for the most part I'll be placing tiles, and basically what I do is I just enable this place tiles here, and then I have an array of vector 2i which correspond to the atlas coordinates for the tiles. So for instance, here's my tile map here. If I need to place the tower, the atlas coordinates are 4, 5. So in my region 1 large decorations here, you can see that I've got that 4, 5 in there as one of the options. So that's basically it. And then from a technical standpoint, tiramisu, okay. No worries. Now I can actually say your name. Very cool. Anyway, so that's the custom resource that I just showed you. And then inside of the map decoration placer here, basically what happens in here is I call create decorations. And what happens is I load up all those definitions. So I just iterate over those files. I randomize the seed if the noise is present, just because we don't want to place the same pattern every time. So randomize the seed if there is a noise defined. And then what I do is I iterate over all those placement definitions and call this function here. And in here, basically what I do is I just take all those definitions and I run some logic to place whatever is defined to be placed. So if I'm placing scenes, I'll do the scene placement there. If I'm placing tiles, it will do this. And just place a single tile here. Pretty straightforward. I think the major thing that I changed here is I split up. So this create notoriety region boundaries here. What this does is this finds the lowest node and the highest node. In other words, the lowest node being the node with the greatest Y value and the highest node being the node with the lowest Y value. It's kind of reversed, but basically the language I'm using here is like the highest on screen. So the highest position is the highest node on screen, and the lowest position is the lowest node on screen. And I do that for each notoriety region. And so that gives me like a little rect2 boundary for each region. But then I also add 64 pixels of padding above and below each region. So the rectangle region stretches from the left to right of the entire map bounds, which is defined by the generator. But then the up and down size of the region is determined by where the furthest north checkpoint is and where the furthest south node generally is. And then I'm adding 64 pixels of padding in both directions to create a little bit of mixing transition between the regions in terms of their decorations. And then those region boundaries are used when I'm doing the iteration to place it. So the step here, which was defined in the custom resource, remember that 4 that I mentioned? Basically, it's just going to iterate through the region boundary X and Y size by increments of step. And it uses that position for the noise sampling and everything. So that's basically how the map generation is working now, which is really good because now it's entirely data driven, meaning that I can just define new resources if I want to place new decorations. And I can make each region look distinct. So for instance, I changed the density of the trees for the second region and also the density of the grass for the second region. And I could do something similar for the third region as well. So yeah, that's how it's all going. Yeah, what else? I think that's basically it. Been a while since I touched tiles, but there's a feature for scenes to be tiles. No, I think so. I think I could define the campfire as being a tile. Campfire scene as being a tile. I don't know how that works though. Maybe I can figure it out real quick. I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I'd have to do paint. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Custom data, maybe? I might have to use a custom data layer with a... Can I do a packed scene in here? I don't see a packed scene. Yeah, I thought that was a thing too, but I think it's just easier for me to just place my own scenes, honestly. Use the tile map for traditional tiles and then place my own scenes, because it's, you know, there's no reason for me to sample a tile set for scenes. I could see a case where that would be useful, but for me, if all I need to do is just place scenes, I don't really need to bake that into the tile map. But I could definitely see how it'd be useful if you were like building your environments by hand with the tiles, and you want to just place scenes like coins or whatever on your platformer level without having to instantiate and place those manually. But link in Discord, but it's more work for sure. I will check that out because I actually don't know how to do that. Hello, Chris. Welcome back. Good morning to you. I would like to see the decorations have more color, but maybe that would take away from the nodes. Yeah, it's supposed to be just like background ambience, really. I don't want to make them stand out. I think they're supposed to just sit in the background and be kind of unnoticeable. Because the main focus, like you said, is the nodes. And also, more color. I have like 3 colors I can use, so... But maybe there's something to do there. You know, I could see a situation where maybe I just, like, within a radius of the player, like the light radius or whatever, they could actually change colors of everything, but... So I think what I want to do for this stream, the next thing I want to figure out is I want to change the road art for the regions as well. So you can see that this road for the first region is kind of like a dirt/cobble road. And I want the roads to be more refined. So the second region here, this is kind of like a military region. It's definitely going to be like wealthier and more sophisticated. And then the third region, again, is going to be like the region of nobility and like high clerical positions and all that stuff. So we'll figure out some proper decorations for that. But I do want to figure out how to get the roads to change, because those are not defined by resources. And I don't think I need to make those defined by resources because I'm just going to use a single road sprite. So, but yeah, let's see if I can figure out a different road type here. So firstly, where even is that road? Map decoration placer, road placeholder. This is using res assets map road. Oh goodness, this is old. This is an old UI. Let me think. Maybe I'll just make rename this to road region 2 or 0, I mean. So, road region 1. That's 8 pixels. So that's probably, just move this up. Probably going to keep the road width the same. We'll just make these chunkier. Chunkier roads here. Okay, how would this look if this was tiled? Oops. I think that looks decent. Oh, this is 7 pixels total. Oops. This is going to be a little bit thicker. I think that's all right, though. Let's just do that. And we'll see how that goes. Selection, selected layers, road region 1, export. Okay, so I'll probably need to change this. So this road region 0 placeholder, let's duplicate this. Quick load. Wait. Oh. Fill. Quick load road region 1. That is a 9 pixel width. Okay. I think that should be all right. So this is road region 1 placeholder. Okay, so now I think these to-dos are done. So now what we need to do is place roads. Okay. Var road regions is equal to, let's do instance placeholder array. Road regions is equal to this. Road region 0 placeholder, road region 1 placeholder, and let's just put the 0 or the 1 placeholder as the third argument here, the third element, I mean. Okay, so now we're going to use the edges. Let's just try this. I mean, we'll just say placeholder is equal to road regions, and then we're going to use the edge.nodeA.notoriety region. I don't know. I think there might be an ordering issue because I could have a node A that's like into the second region and the node B is into the first region. So that might create a backwards road, but let's just see what that does. Hello, Asahi Dib. Welcome back. Good to see you. Fire and Ice Cream. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. I think of them like the faded detail, like a fantasy map, just there to hint at the environment you could expect. Yeah, I think that's right. That's the way I'm thinking about it too. Oh, those are some thick roads. Yeah, probably too thick. But it looks generally okay. Probably the roads going from the checkpoint. Var notoriety region. Actually, I guess I could just do this. I could use node B.notoriety region. That would probably fix that. Yeah, so now the roads leading into this, from the checkpoint into the second region are going to be different. Okay, cool. Those are too thick though, so I'm going to need to shrink that up. Probably. Oh, this lag issue is getting annoying. I need to make that my project for today, is to test that Godot fix. Anyway. So I think that's good. Let's just change this. I wonder if it's just as simple as chopping this down a little bit. Okay, that's okay. All right, let's see what that does. So this is now 7. Okay. Export road region 1. Okay, we'll change this to 7 again. All right, let's see what that does. Oh, this is a scene? Why is this oh, yeah, never mind. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. I think it's serviceable. Yeah, maybe we'll edit it a little bit more later, but I think it's okay. So now our road types are distinct. Our decorations are distinct. Cool. All right. So that's good. Oh, this lag. Very painful. Hello, Night Raven Games. Regions now, that's going to be cool. Yes, I think it is. The third region could be a big city or something where the details and buildings in the region border like a gated wall or something. Yeah, that's a good idea. So we can make it look like a densely populated city. I was also thinking about, like, I have trees in both regions here. I was thinking for the third region, instead of trees, or maybe instead of like a whole cluster of trees, maybe I'll draw like larger trees that are just standalone. But then I also probably want to do like mountains or something. So we have like mountains in here and then like have, yeah, I think like densely populated cities would be cool. Yeah, I think that would work really nice. Spatter a couple of cathedrals in here, you know what I mean? I think that would look really cool. Because like in terms of the decoration types, the first and second region are very similar. You've got your trees and your grass and like your large decorations here. It's just that the trees look different, the grass looks different, there's some different large decorations. I think we could go completely different for the third region and not use so many trees and not so much grass and do other buildings and whatnot. Like I could even see it, yeah, I could even see it being that, and like imagine these cluster of trees are instead like clusters of buildings, you know what I mean? I think that would look really nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. So we'll do that then. We'll see how that looks. And of course I need to come up with some scene decorations as well for these different things. But that's going to be good for now. So use unique road types for, what does this change? Oh, use unique road types for each region. There is one other technical thing I want to do, which is I want to set a priority order in which the decoration resources are applied. Because right now, I think the order is based on the name in the file system, although I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know if the order is guaranteed, but there's a problem here, which is that if grass gets placed after the large decorations, it's possible that a piece of grass could overwrite a large decoration and thus make large decorations less apparent than they should be or less common than they should be. So I want to define an order. So the finer details, the ones that have the lowest step, probably need to be applied first. Actually, I could probably just use the step. I don't need to have a priority order, actually. So I'll just order these by step, I think, and then apply them in that order. So I need to group them by region and order them by step. That's the other thing. I don't think they're guaranteed to be placed in. So yeah, let's do that. So placement definitions, cool. So I'm going to want to do this. Placement definitions dot group by x dot notoriety region dot order by. I want to do order by, yeah. How do I do this? I grouping. Can I not order a grouping? I always get confused by how group by works. Do I need to do to list first? What? Okay, let's just ask the AI. We have an AI asker. We have an AI expert right here. How do I get the value of an I grouping in link so that I can order the grouped result? Son of a biscuit. Welcome back, Neozoid. Good to see you. Defected. Welcome, welcome. The fourth region can be the ice wall and the mysteries beyond. Yeah. I want to order by the step property of the placement definition. Group by gives you a hash map, I think. It gives you an I grouping, which is like a key value pair, or at least it seems like a key value pair. Hello, A the Ant, welcome back. Clusters of buildings with a sprinkle of grass just so we can touch it. Yeah. It's time for game day once again. Welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Always good to see you. Hello, Clickertail, welcome. Good morning, V. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. I love my regular viewers, don't we, folks? Okay, you can just sort the list by step and optionally by notoriety region. Replace the unused group by. Oh. Order by. Oh, I see. So I can just do placement definitions equals placement definitions order by. Then by x dot step. Okay, I guess that works. So we order by notoriety region, then by step. I think that works. So let's just do this. gd.print. We'll just make sure that this is doing it in the right order. So we're going to print the placement definition, or no, resource path. See if that works. I think that should work. ToList gives you the values of a group. Okay, gotcha. Well, I tried to do that, but then I couldn't order it by like the key. Oh no, V is back. Scary. So we did grass first, then trees, then large decorations and scene decorations, trees, grass, trees. Okay, that appears to be working, so that's good. Alrighty then. Well, we might as well start then trying to get some decorations in for the third region there. That seems to be working just fine. So yeah, we want to do clusters of buildings instead of trees, also probably mountains and whatnot. But let me commit that first. Properly order resource placement. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and just see what we can do with some buildings here. I guess we'll start by drawing some. I'm going to need to make this bigger. Sprite, canvas size. Let's just do 256. Okay, that should work. I hope. This sprite sheet is not organized at all, so I'm just going to keep throwing stuff into it nonsensically because it's already a lost cause. All right, let's see if we can do some buildings. We'll just do a very basic type of building to start. Very basic type of building. How do I make this look like? Well, we'll just try this, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's do one kind of like this. Oops, don't want to do that. This one can be moved down. Okay, do something like that. Egads. That's not gonna work. I don't know, something like that. We will figure it out. Hello, A6. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Did you try using Z-Link before? I heard it's somewhat popular among Unity devs. I have not heard of that, no. You should see some of my sprite sheets. Yeah. IDK, why? But it's upsetting me that your A sprite is dark mode, but your grid background isn't. I don't know. I just used the default grid background, I guess. It's autocorrect. Looks like a face with a pyramid hat. I think it's fine now. That'll keep you warm and dry. Mario Pipe. I'm curious, if you're willing to share and remember, what's the resolution you chose for Gunforged? I'm always at loss when choosing a good size for pixel art. My sprites are smaller than 32 by 32. It's 640 by 360 for all my games, so Gunforged is 640 by 360. And I think most of the, well, the player fits into something that's slightly smaller than 32 by 32. I think the player fits into something like, it's like 18 by 24 or something like that. But I think my tiles are 32 by 32, so generally speaking, things fit in that, I think. Also, this is too big. Azir, don't make me come over there. Dang cats. Need a windmill. Oh yeah, a windmill would work. Maybe for one of the other regions. 480 by 270. I think as long as the trick with like the pixel art resolutions is you want to find a resolution that divides into the common resolutions easily. So 640 by 360 is a nice one because it goes into 1280 by 720, it goes into 1920 by 1080, it goes into 2560 by 1440. So those are like the most popular 16:9 ratios. But I think half of that resolution works too, which would be what? Or I think 480 by 270, that sounds like a resolution that can work as well, but does he realize he's creating the Nephilim? Oh no. You're doing art for maps? I am, yes. Welcome back, Mark. A windmill is required. What inspired you on Gunforged? I don't remember. Well, Gunforged originally was supposed to be an Enter the Gungeon clone, but then it morphed more into something like Brotato and Vampire Survivors. So I guess it was a number of things, but initially it was like, it was supposed to be like Enter the Gungeon, but with the Noita like wand crafting system for guns. And yeah, it morphed more into like Vampire Survivors / Brotato with a Noita-esque system for creating guns. Try that res out? Cool. Z-Link is a drop-in replacement for Link with less runtime memory allocation. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about memory. I would be shocked if Alcamortis is going to use like 200 megabytes of memory at runtime. Like Azir cares, yeah. I've counted something. So your tile is 32 by 32 equals 1024. Also nearly 300 average tiles per level. So, yeah, but you have to understand, like, a lot of the tiles are mostly a solid color. So you just, like, at least for Gunforged, you take the tile, pick the color you want for the tile, fill that in, and then you add, like, a handful of details to sell the fact that it's a tile. So you're not actually hand placing every pixel. And also, because they're tiles, they're reused in the tile map. So really, I only did, like, 4 different tile variations or 5 different tile variations or whatever, and then just cover the map with those things, you know? Now, it is a lot of work. I mean, there's, like, multiple different types of tiles and whatnot, but it's not as much work as it sounds if you just multiply out the number of number of pixels, I mean. Imagine drawing by hand the entire level. Yeah, there are people that do like the entire environment by hand, and that can get very ridiculous very quickly. I actually don't know if these are going to look good, so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to, before I get ahead of myself, let's just get these into the game and see what happens. So, I need to go my tile set here. I need to set up, add those. We're going to change the, well, let's do this. We need to create an alternative tile for each of those. Then we need to paint the texture origin to 8. Paint that there, and then the 2 I just added. Here and here. Okay. Let's create new resource, placement definition, Let's call this region 2 buildings. Okay. Notoriety region is 2. Step, we'll do 11 noise settings. Let's create a new fast noise light. Perlin. Let's see what that does. And then min noise sample. Let's do 0 and 0.5 maybe. Place tiles. Tile map atlas coordinates. We've got 2 of them. What are those coordinates? This will be 0, 7 and 0, 8, right? Or no, 1, 7. I'm not that bright. Okay. 0, 7 and 1, 7. And the beauty of that is that that should be it now. So I've configured it. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. And we'll just keep adding stuff from there. If you need to fix performance with Z-Link, you have a lot more bigger problems. Yeah, I mean, I could see it being the case like, yeah, if you're running a game that already is very heavy on memory and you need the extra free savings or whatever, maybe that could be useful. Or if you're doing very heavy procedural generation, then maybe it could be useful. Oh no, look at those buildings. So definitely going to need more building variety, but they're just too frequent here. So what I'll do is I'll zoom this up. Actually, that might actually make it worse. Oh goodness, that made it worse. So I definitely want the frequency to be up. Maybe the noise cutoff value is not what I want. Let's just do 0.4 to 1. Anyway, let's see. Those are too sparse now. I think that's good. I might just need to change the noise here. Let's turn down the octaves. Unfortunately, this is the part that's kind of annoying. It's just playing with the noise until it gets to a point where it's reasonable. Okay, that looks better to me. Gonna need some more building variety. Yeah, let's get some more building variety in there and then we'll see. We'll tweak it from there. Actually, I want to try it with, I want to try doing mountains now, if that's gonna work. Let's see if mountains will work. How even am I gonna do mountains? Let's see. Maybe I'll just do something like that and do that a couple of times. Yeah, so we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a shorter one like that. And then maybe we'll do a real tall one. A real tall double peak one if we can. That'll work. And we can fill those in. Okay, let's see if that works. Outline those. Then I want to just, oops, fill that in. Let's see if that does anything. I'm just going to duplicate this. Region to mountains. Oops. Region to mountains 14. Maybe we'll use the same. So the trick is I probably want to use the same noise for certain things, because then I can define different noise samples. So I can do -0.5 here and 0. And so because these are using the same noise, but they have different noise sample regions, that means that the mountains are never going to be placed where buildings are, right? So I can kind of use the same noise to determine where the mountains are and where the buildings are. These need to change. So this would be 0, 8, 1, 8, and also 2, 8. And then we'll go down here. We'll add these in. Kerblam, ski. We need to create alternative tiles for these. Then we need to paint the texture, origin. Find all the mountains in my alternative tiles here, which is a little bit annoying. Okay. See what that does. I'll be baking while watching the stream. Nice. Azir. Azir. Stop. The cats are just fighting over the blanket right now. Okay, I think the mountains look cool. I think I need to change them though. Let's take these mountains. These need to be tighter together, so we'll do 6 instead. And then let's reduce the noise, the minimum and maximum noise sample. Good morning, Zeki. Welcome back. Bread development. Might need some more buildings. Yeah, I'm gonna do more building variety. But I'm just trying to get... Okay, those mountains look pretty cool. They're probably too close together now. Cats! Hey, Azir. Can you be a good boy for once in your life? Are you okay? Okay, there you go. Good. Anyway, so those mountains are probably too dense now. Are these using the same... Oh, maybe they're not using the same noise. I wonder if duplicating a resource duplicates all the sub-resources. Let's just copy this and paste it in here. Make sure those are the same. Let's bump up the step a little bit so they're a little bit less dense. People want more places to live, yeah. I could see at least 2 buildings there. Yeah, there's two buildings, 2 building variations. Okay, let's see. This kind of looks cool over here. Yeah, I definitely need more building variety, I guess. But yeah, we've got mountains and buildings. I'm gonna change this fast noise light. We're gonna do just 1 octave. Oops. Just 1 octave. Make it a little bit nicer. Hopefully. Okay, you can kind of see now that generally speaking, the buildings are avoiding the mountains, but there's some mixing of mountains and buildings a little bit. I don't know why that's happening. What if I just up the frequency a little bit, or make the frequency a little bit lower? They're not sharing the reference. Okay, why are they not sharing the reference to this fast noise light? Paste there. If I change this one, it should change in there, but it's not. Why is that not changing? So they're not sharing their reference for some reason. Why are they not sharing the reference? Okay, well, here's what I'll do then. Let's just save this. Let's try this. Save, let's just do noise. Region 2 building noise. Save that. And then let's open it up. Region 2 building noise there. Now if I change this, will this... Okay, so now they're sharing the reference. So I'm going to need to make sure to do that for the other ones. I don't know why it wasn't sharing the reference naturally because I copied and pasted it, but oh well. Let's see if that fixes things. Why is there separated houses? Game devs live there. Yeah. Fill in the center of the mountain with a non-transparent color. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, that looks better. Now we're not getting mountains mixed in with the houses. So you see how like it creates these valleys now where I've got mountains here. This section looks really nice. Maybe not the buildings so much. I wonder, maybe the buildings are too large. Maybe I need to make them even smaller so it looks better. But so we've got like these nice mountain ranges here. Like this looks really good actually. I think the buildings are the major problem. Maybe the mountains are a little bit too frequent, so I might min noise sample. Let's make this negative 0.3. Make the mountains a little bit less frequent. Find C# more complicated to read than GDScript? Well then, yeah, stick with GDScript. Nothing wrong with that. Welcome back, Yusuf. Could you make it a tool and see changes to the noise params in real time? Yeah, I could. That would require time. I don't think I'm quite at the point where this is so annoying that I need to make a tool for it, but I could definitely do that at some point. Yeah, the buildings are the big problem, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to make better buildings. I think the mountains look really good though. I like how the mountains turned out. Wouldn't fire and ice cream just leave like cream? Yeah. Cats never sleep. Azir, yes. Wu-Tang is forever. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Always very generous. And we have the message yummers. Look at that. Welcome back, Snupbill. Thank you again. Wonder how the mountains would look with a vertical ridge style tile. Oh, I see. Buildings are the same size as mountains. Is this in Texas? Yeah, I mean, the proportions are completely wrong. Like, the flowers are like half the size of trees. I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's just, again, it's just map decorations. Maybe it's just really tiny mountains. Yeah, they don't need to be to scale, yeah. Right, yep, exactly. So we're going to take another stab at doing, maybe I'll do some smaller buildings. Do I want to do some smaller buildings? I don't think the buildings I've drawn look very nice. You're being a nightmare today, buddy. You're being a nuisance. You're being a nuisance. Hey. Hi. Hua! Do you have something you want to say? No? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll do some new buildings, I guess. But before I forget, I think the trees and the large decorations are supposed to share. Yeah, 1105. What happens if I do 1106? Yeah, these are not being shared. Okay. So let's make this unique. We're going to save this. Region 0. Trees. And then we'll load that in here. The scene decorations don't use noise. That's interesting. I think these probably need to use the same noise as well. Yeah. Make unique, save as, region 1, trees, noise. Okay, let's just make sure that all looks good. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. So let me take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we will try another stab at creating some buildings. I'm going to try to make them smaller and see what that does. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that, but the point is to create something that looks dense, and I don't know... Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. You have to add one of those cat cams. Yeah, I could do that. Very cute kitty, thank you. All right, give me just 3 minutes. I'll be right back, and we will continue on. Alrighty, I'm back. Let me check something really quick. Alrighty. Okay. Time to redraw some buildings. Goodbye. how do I want to do this? Let's just try a smaller version. Smaller version of the buildings that I had. I don't know. We should be able to see a pretty distinct change with just that art change there. So let's see. Just see what that looks like. Probably going to have to increase the density of the buildings as well, since they're smaller. But let's see. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Okay. Yeah. Need more building variety, but change the step to 7. That might be too much. Let's do 8. Try 8, and we'll see what that does. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks reasonable. So if we get some more building types in here, I think maybe I should look up. So I want to do what? All right, I'm done with this. One second. A church surrounded by some buildings would be nice. Yeah, I think I need to do that as a separate, like it can't be part of the basic buildings. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely think that I'm going to do that, like cathedrals and stuff. Yeah. Confirm Fire Valley Games was indeed a bot. Those hydrants look nothing like cars, yeah. I was just about to suggest use DuckDuckGo, yeah. I have to do that for all my in private browsing needs. The problem is I don't know how to represent these at a very small scale. We could try though. Let's see if we can just make a bigger one. So, I mean, look again. Maybe something with arches could work. Maybe we'll try that. Let's see if that works. Maybe it's not going to work. Well, we can try that, I suppose. We could try that, I suppose. Are you set on going with the monochrome look? It's not monochrome. No, the game is not monochrome. There's 8 colors in the game. You can see that there's other colors here. But for the map, yeah. The map will have very, what's the word I'm looking for? Muted colors. Oh, I forgot to add that to my configuration. Oops. This is what? 2.7. Yep, just for the map. I think more colors would make the map look visually too busy, although I wouldn't mind a different color for each region. I only have 8 colors to work with, so that's the other thing. Any color that is brighter than this purple here is going to be very noticeable. I don't think that looks bad. The problem now, though, is that I probably don't want this to be placed as often. The bigger building is being... I might just do a bunch of... Let me just do some more smaller buildings. Let's do this. Just do some smaller buildings here. That might be okay. Oops. Man, this is tough. This is a tough one. Actual good card games made with dozens of people. Also Firebelly after inventing Snail Can. So guy ran to a bar yelling, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam. The bartender said, relax, man, you're too tense. That's one of my mom's favorite jokes. I do like it. There are still, I don't know what you mean by game dev houses. Those little cities look cool. They remind me of, I don't know how to say that, in Italy. A little more spread out, maybe more buildings, a town square. Yeah, we're not done with it yet. All right, thank you for the, what is that? I don't know what currency that is, but thank you for the 40 currency. Appreciate it, Electro Nest. How to start with creating my own pixel art. I have a video on this channel called How to Get Good at Pixel Art with no art skill. So I would recommend maybe check out that video first, because I go over basically the process that I went through, the things that I learned that improved my pixel art skill the most. So it's just 5 tips, and I think if you apply those 5 tips, you will see your art improve. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And thank you so much for the super chat. Very much appreciate that. Separated ones. Hello, my Kundev. Thank you for the €2. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. And welcome back to the stream. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Giant serpent-like fossil in unpopulated map areas. Yeah, we could do something like that. I mean, I still have to do other decorations. Right now we just have the mountains and the houses, but there definitely needs to be more. Adam C. Eunice has a ton of good pixel art videos too. Yes, that's true, yeah. So Adam C. Eunice, Pixel Pete, what's that guy's name? Something Greer, James Greer or something. Those are good resources to look at as well. Yeah, you're welcome, Electronest. How many donations are there today? 3? Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm too German to understand that joke. Are TP and Wigwam tent brands? They are types of tents that the Native Americans built. So they those are just tent styles that the native people built. You could say they're brands, I guess. I think each tribe had their own signature style of tent, of dwelling. Very much enjoy Adam C. Eunice videos, yeah. Alrighty, so let's see here. What was I going to do? What was I going to do? I was going to just build another... How do I make the buildings look interesting? Maybe I can do something like this. Something like this, and then maybe I could do like a little roof or something. This way. Goodness, drawing pixel art this low detail is difficult. Trying to make this look maybe like a little stand of some kind. I could just do this. I don't know, that might make it too busy, but let's see. Let's do one more building type, one more small building type. And then we'll see what that does. Maybe I could do like a townhouse. Egads. Well, I don't really know what that's supposed to be. Maybe we'll just do something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we've got some more tiles here. All right, now we gotta find those in my sheet here. There's one. There's another one. There's the last one. Okay. And those are what? Those are 3, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7. 3, 7, so 3, 4, 5 basically. Region 2 buildings. 3, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7. All right, let's see what that does. Why am I focused on the chat? I can't click anything except chat. You're stuck here with all of us. Good morning, Emerson. Can't even close the window. Send help. I'm sorry you're here with us. Google vibe coded YouTube. Google vibe coded YouTube. That's funny. Okay, the cities are looking a little bit better now, I would say. Maybe we can make them a little bit less dense now. What software engineer did you used to be, by the way? Just curious. I was a full stack engineer. I did everything. I did front end with React and Tailwind. I did back end infrastructure development and deployment with Terraform, AWS, Google Cloud. I did all the back end service programming as well. The REST APIs and all that stuff, database migrations, everything. Everything. I think that looks reasonable. I might want to add some kind of way to do like priorities or something, because I think these big buildings are being chosen too much. So I might need to add some kind of chance or priority. Do you use Claude AI? No, I don't. No, not really. .NET 10 is having an overhaul to their garbage collector. We should be expecting better performance as they made big improvements to when and where memory is being cleared. Awesome. That's great to hear. That's going to definitely help. I love when those invisible upgrades just make your game better. You don't need to do anything. Very nice. Bros 10x. Yeah, I don't know about that, but Town Square would be nice. Yeah, we could probably do that. We can probably do that. The problem, I mean, let's just try it. Let's see if I can do it. The problem is it might get overlapped. So I might have to do, let me think. The problem is like the tile map cells here. These cells are 4 by 4. So that means that I can place things very close to each other like this. So if I had a town square and I just plopped it here, I would not be guaranteed that it wouldn't have buildings placed over top of it. You know what I mean? But we could try it. We could try it. It's probably not going to look good without some more tweaks to my system. But we can give it a shot. We'll put an obelisk in the middle, why not? Or a little spire. And of course it's not centered. Why would you want it to be centered? Why would you want your art to be centered? That's ridiculous. Okay. Probably not going to look good, but let's see. We'll do it for the vine. We'll do it for the vine. I think if I did a town square, it'd probably have to be a larger decoration, but it's still the same problem where if I try to place it in the middle of a bunch of houses, it could just get like placed, have things placed over it. Oh, I forgot to add it to my resources. This would be what? 6, 7, I guess. Is game deving more enjoyable thus far? I would say, I mean, there's parts of, I would say as a whole, yeah, game dev is more enjoyable. But I think most of that is because, yeah, that doesn't look that good. I would have to come up with a different system for doing the town square, so that's not going to work, unfortunately. I would say game dev is more enjoyable mostly because I don't have to deal with some like BS from the business about like, you know, oh, we got a customer that wants to do X, Y, and Z thing, but our system was written 10 years ago by somebody who just did it in a weekend, nicotine and caffeine fueled nonstop weekend, and it's not very scalable, and now we got to do a bunch of refactoring, and we have to set up all this cloud infrastructure, and by the way, we got to maintain all of our user data from the legacy system, so you got to write a big old migration to get all the user data into the new system without dropping any data, without breaking anything, and then if you want to be really careful, you got to write all these unit and integration tests, and then it needs to go through 40,000 rounds of testing and bug fixing. It's like, it's much easier just to do my own thing and be like, oh, that needs to be fixed, or, that needs to be fixed, but I don't need to worry about it right now, you know? Anyway, but I would say that there's elements of full stack engineering that's very satisfying. Like when you do finally get a feature out into production, it ends up getting used by tens of thousands of people without breaking. That's a pretty wonderful feeling too. I think one of the most fun things that I did at my last job is I had to set up an email queue so that the people who are purchasing our product could email all of their customers with like CSV files and everything. So I set up a whole email queue system that could handle tens of thousands of emails at once. Not at once. I mean, it's a queue system, so they would be handled over the course of 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. But it was fun to set up that entire system, and then when it works, it's very fun. I think this is looking respecable, honestly. I do want to change the frequency of these buildings, but I'm not going to handle that right now. Somebody said we got to do a windmill, and I agree, so let's do that. Let's do a windmill. Kind of need to be 10x to be a good gameplay programmer. Yeah, that's true. Like games, I would say that games, like depending on the kind of game you're making, probably contain some of the most complex systems in software engineering generally, because when you're going to these jobs and stuff, sometimes they'll ask you about like complexity of like certain algorithms or whatever, and then you like study for the interview to answer those questions, and you get into the job and it's just about shuffling data around. But in game dev, it's like, no, you actually do need to be aware in a lot of cases of algorithms and how to properly apply them and to do it in a performant way. And yeah, game engines handle a lot of that complexity for you a lot of times, but a lot of times you have to write your own algorithms that are somewhat complex and that have to perform well, and then you have all these systems interacting with each other. Yeah, I would say like a game of reasonable complexity, or of a reasonable complexity, is probably more difficult in a lot of ways, more challenging from a technical perspective to create than your average SaaS app, you know. What's 10x? Is it different from 30x? Shall we crank it up to 100x? 256x. Hello, Schlurgy, welcome back. I just got recommended some video the other day about 30x programmer in a title. Oh, it's easy. You just spin up 3 AI agents and you become a 30x programmer. Fun fact, my hometown's town square is triangular. The only one triangle-shaped one in Germany. Well, that's not a town square. That's a town triangle. That is cool, though. Trim it to a square. Abandon uniqueness, embrace conformity. The GC is way more configurable. Oh, that's good. Sounds far too relatable, yeah. He's having a PTSD episode. Why not just offload to SendGrid? Why didn't we do that? We were using SendGrid to send the emails. So we had a need where the customer could upload a CSV of email addresses with a message to send, and then we individually sent each email through SendGrid. I don't know, does SendGrid have a batch email function through its API? This was like several years ago too, so maybe SendGrid has it now, but didn't at the time. Sounds like an amazing job. Hope it paid really well. I heard in so many cases, especially after jumping companies. Yeah, it was good pay. I mean, the opportunity cost of doing game dev, if you compare the money I'm missing out on from making a full stack software engineer salary, it's a lot of money. Like, if you were to account for that opportunity cost when you're saying how much did it cost to make this game, it would be, well over 6 figures at this point. But it's okay. It's just money. Coolest job I had was building a BBC iPlayer during the World Cup and when the Queen died. Oh, that is cool, actually. That's very cool. Reminds me of wave function collapse, yeah. You can upload one message to multiple addresses. I don't know how long ago it was implemented. Yeah, I think there must have been a reason we weren't doing that. Yeah, I don't remember the details. It may have been the case that... Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember enough of the details about why we were doing that. Every system has its quirks, you know. It'd be really cool to have like a carriage, horses, and travelers and decorations in the third region. Oh, one requirement that we had, Chris, to answer your question, is we had the ability to schedule the emails. So again, I don't know if that's something you could do through SendGrid, but the queue system, you were able to write your email and you were able to schedule it, but then you could go in and edit the email at any point before it was sent. But again, that should still just be able to be queued as a piece of data with all the addresses you want to send it to and then just batch send it. So I don't know why we weren't doing that. I'm assuming there was a good reason we weren't, but I just don't remember. It'd be really cool to have like a carriage, horses and travelers and decorations in the third region. Oh yeah. Same with me. I don't make a ton of my wood shop and absolutely could go back to work if I wanted to, but after missing 2 of my kids' childhood in the military, I'm not willing to give up the next 2. Yeah, I agree. Like, especially once you're like comfortable, it's like at some point, I mean, it's going to sound very like first world issues, but at some point, like once you have a comfortable lifestyle, it's like the number going up in your bank account doesn't really do anything for your lifestyle. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, so I could be working 40 hours a week and just continuing to pad out my bank account, but it's like, I'm not moving into a bigger house. I'm not buying a Jaguar. I might have been able to just like buy a one-off piece of computer equipment whenever I wanted to, but it's like at some point it just becomes kind of meaningless. That was my experience anyway. Okay. Let's add a windmill. I want to add a windmill. Probably not for this region, though. I want to add a windmill to the second region because I'm still missing scene decorations in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's interesting niche feature, editing until it's sent. Yeah. So I work for myself instead of chasing money. Yeah. Some wisdom in this stream. Dang, yeah. Welcome, Adaton. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Rob Ziranid Fox. I don't really do much at my job, but it still makes me tired having to answer questions from my boss. Yeah. See, I like the factory number because big number makes me feel good. Yeah. Okay, let's do a windmill. Or as some Americans might say, a windmeal. A windmeal. It's a meal that you eat composed of wind. Okay. Let's go ahead and make a windmeal. How am I going to do this? Probably just use this size. Where did I put the campfire? I don't remember. Alchemortis, assets, map. $32 by $32. So let's do this. New 32 by 32. Let's do a windmill. What the heck does a windmill even look like? It's got to be tall enough. Well, let's just do this first. I'll worry about the roof in a second. All right, so let's do this. I feel like that's wrong. Yeah, it needs to be on the bottom of every side. So can I do this symmetry? What does that do? Oh, that's not right. That's not right either. That's not right either. All right, I guess I'm doing this wrong. Okay. Let's just not worry about the symmetry here. So I actually almost need to make this like that. I honestly don't know. Okay. I think I figured it out. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. We'll just go with that. We'll just go with that, and then we'll rotate it around a bunch. Actually, I probably don't need to do this in... I probably don't need to do this in A Sprite, but... Nope. You all are going to sit here and watch me struggle through this if you like it or not. Okay. Is that right? Whatever, I'm going to declare that it's right. I'm going to declare that it's right. Let's make it taller. Oops. That should work. It's going to be a very big decoration, I think. But anyway, let's take this down like so. We'll move this one down. I'm just going to put a very basic topper on it. Okay. That'll probably work. No one says that. Wait, I've never heard anyone saying that before. Hello, Denny FPS. Welcome back. Hello, Crames. Have I upgraded to 4.5? I have, yeah. To be fair, my wife makes fun of me because whenever I'm traveling somewhere, I always say I'm going up to it. Oh, yeah. Windmill, yummers, yeah. Have you had the opportunity of seeing a business fail because of the leadership and you just know why the business fails, but no, I don't need to interfere? Yeah, there have, I mean, there's situations like that all the time. Like some of the jobs that I've worked at some point, like, it sounds bad to say, but at some point it's not worth your effort to fight things that you know are not going to be implemented, because there's a couple of reasons for that. One, it's a huge energy drain, right? If you just keep arguing about things and like it never goes the way you want it to. But also, like, there is an element of politics that you have to play in like an employment setting. And if you're always the guy that's just always against whatever's being done, then people tend not to take you as seriously. So what I did when I was employed is I saved my strong objections for when they really mattered. And that tended to get people to listen to me more. And there were some things where I didn't agree with the decision that was being made, either from a technical standpoint or whatever, but it was just like, you know what, it's not worth fighting because it's gonna be fine, you know? And then like in terms of business leadership, yeah, it's like at some point you just kind of have to stay in your lane too. If you don't agree with an overarching business decision and no one asked for your input, it's like, what are you gonna do, you know? Also, I'm not a business guy. I'm a windmill. I'm an engineer, right? So there's an element of like stay in your lane too. Okay. I should put a background on this so I can actually see what I'm doing. I don't really need to make this that detailed because the windmill portion here is going to be taking up a lot of it, but I do probably want to add like a door. Like that, and maybe we'll do like a little window here. Do like a little window with some framing. Try to make this look kind of like a brick building to some extent. I almost wonder if I should just You know what I might do is I might, on the windmill part, I might just fill in these parts a little bit to make that shadow thicker. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that works. I think it's a respecable windmill. I think it's a respecable windmill for sure. So let's move all this stuff down. I'm gonna need to make this bigger. Oh no, I don't. I just need to do this. That'll work. Okay. Let's do tower, windmill, tower, windmill, blades, scripts, export layers, save sprite, kerblam. I could not find a distinct answer, but it looks like to be the foil surfaces are to the right. Oh, I got you. Yeah, maybe I drew the windmill wrong, but I don't know if it's that important. But yeah, we'll see. The struggle and pain is what people are here for, just having to outline every card art. Yeah. It would be mounted to the roof section. Okay. I could just move this up, I think. Like that. Yeah, that probably looks better, actually. So I'll do that. Let me just modify this some more. Maybe I'll make the blade outlines thicker, too. I might do that. Oh, maybe not. No, I'm not going to do that. Let me just put some more decorations here. That'll work. I don't always agree with my boss on all our business decisions, but I'm sure if I was the boss, we'd have closed shop 2 years ago, right? Yeah. I thought he was making a pixel art giant. Don Quixote, probably. It's funny. Still lurking, Neozoid? I can close my eyes and still see that's a windmill. Okay. I don't know about that, but okay. Have you had to make miracles because marketing overpromised to a client without consulting the engineers? Yeah, that happens with some regularity. Fortunately, it hasn't been too much of a problem for me because, like, I think I generally had, like, I worked for good companies, generally speaking. But that did happen on occasion. It's kind of annoying, but it's all right. It happens. Now poor people won't have to dodge the blades to get to the door, right? Because the objective is to have a little of the building blocking air to the blades. Right, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I'm underutilizing global scripts. Do you think it's worth using them more often? Well, it depends on what you mean by global scripts. I think with those kind of questions, it's hard to answer because it's almost like asking, am I not using a screwdriver enough? And it's like, well, it depends on the context, right? Are you regularly trying to unscrew screws with a wrench? Then yeah, probably you should be using a screwdriver more. So I think that's all to say that, like, the global scripts is a tool that you can use to make your life easier. And if you have no need of it, then there's no reason to use them. It's not really a question of should you use them more or not. But if you have like a specific example of where you're thinking about using a global script, maybe I can point you in the right direction or say something more useful. Start private and only increase the scope as needed. Let's put the windmill reference here. Okay. Windmill. Okay. Okay. Windmill reference. Blam. Okay, so we got the reference here. Now we can put the blades in here. Put the blades there at the tower. Probably want to change the offset here real quick. Okay, now we can do an animation player. Just call this default. Auto load. Or autoplay on load, rather. Windmill blades. Keyframe the rotation. Maybe we'll do it over 3 seconds. Insert a key. And we want this to loop. Maybe we'll go the other way. I might even go slower than that. That'll work. Let's get this into the game and see what happens. I want to use global to track the player's progress and perhaps save node positions. I don't know what ETV means, but okay, so you want to track player progress. So I don't know if I would use a truly global script, because when I think like a truly global script, I'm thinking something like an auto load that's always present in the tree. What you could do is, what I often do is, whatever my main scene is, in this case, it's the run manager, I will put another manager node in here that stores some aspect of the game state, right? So for instance, in this game, I have currency that I need to keep track of. And there's all kinds of operations that I need to do throughout the code base to check, do I have enough currency? I want to add currency to the player, so on and so forth. And so what I do is I spin that off into a manager, and this manager only manages the currency. And it only provides methods for changing the currency. And then I can expose signals that tell me when various aspects of that state has changed. And then what I do is I add this to a group. So I add this to a group with the name currency manager. And then if I want to access the currency manager from anywhere, I can either grab it from that group, or I also have this set up as like a quasi, well, it is a singleton, but it's a singleton that's only available in the game context. So it's a singleton where I can use static methods to do the various things. So you could say that this is a global script in a way, but it's a script, it's a global node that's only available in the context of like an actual run of the game. If I'm at the main menu, this currency manager is not in the tree, it's not anywhere. And that's by design, because what you want whenever you start a new run is you want fresh state, right? And if you're trying to store state at an auto load node level, where the node is always present, then whenever you restart a run or restart the level or die or whatever happens in your game, you're going to have to make sure to manually like update all that state to be correct for the new state of the game. Versus like for a roguelike game, it's much easier to just create all that stuff in its default configuration when it starts, have that store state for the duration of the run, and then when the run ends, you go back to the menu, all that state gets cleared, then you go back into the game and you've got fresh state again, right? So this is somewhat of a global node, I guess you could say, a global script, but I think the thing about these managers is that they handle very specific things so that not all of the state is contained within one node, if that makes sense. Do you prefer more of an organic-y, fleshy horror or more of a Victorian kind of horror? I mean, I really like like Victorian style horror, like Gothic horror, I think is really cool. Medieval horror. Definitely not like organically like, I don't know what you mean, but like the Saw movies come to mind. I don't like those kinds of movies, but things like the new Dracula movie was really cool. I like that one a lot. And in terms of like necromancy, I mean, I guess necromancy is kind of a mix of both, but anyway, do you know if there's a way to add or change the default color constants? Like when I type color.light green would be what I've set rather than the default. I don't think you can change the constants that are built into Godot, but there's nothing stopping you from creating your own color file. So in my game constant script here, I've defined all my colors here. So you could just create your own parallel colors file, even in GDScript, to make it static or whatever, and then just put all your colors in there. And that would work. Hello, Lucas. Welcome back. With that design, it needs to rotate the other way. I don't know what I'm doing, so... Rotate the other... What do you mean? How do you guys even know what's going on this sprite? I don't even know what these blades are. But I will appease you. I will appease you. I literally don't even know what I drew. I just drew something that looks like windmill blades. Okay, there. It's rotating clockwise now. Okay. I'm currently struggling to kickstart my own game project. I have to rely on a tutorial to do that. Tutorial hell, yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to go out on a limb, drag an apple, and just try to do things on your own without relying on a tutorial, which means that you're going to encounter roadblocks and walls that you're just going to have to work through, because that's the only way that you're really going to learn, is you have to allow yourself to struggle on a problem for a while. But that's the way that you build like the fundamental understanding that you need to build your own games. I think a lot of it is like a scientific experiment, right? Like you kind of need to approach it with an attitude of experimenting, like try this, see what happens, try that, see what happens. If something's not working the way you thought it was working, then you really need to dive into it and figure out why it wasn't working the way it wasn't working. That's the way that you build up the understanding that you need to like actually be able to, in a self-guided manner, build stuff. So yeah, I think yeah, that's the way to do it. Organically, like the alien Prometheus. Oh, gotcha. The foil is the trilling edge. Okay. Jumpscare horror gets a bit cheap when the build-up is weak. I blame Minecraft mods. Any suggestions on pixel art? I have a pixel art tips video on this channel that you can look at if you're interested, Monster. That will contain basically everything that I would say right now. Hello. Oh, wait, let's go. Oh, yeah. It rotates normally. Okay, I didn't... Yeah, I didn't realize it bothered that many people. Okay. Well, it's rotating the right way now, so I think we're good. We like rotate. I think you need to switch to clean coal. Is it generally better to be adequately good at one low-level programming language before going into game dev? I don't know about low level. I think just being familiar with programming concepts in general in any language is going to help you. Because really, like, the logic behind how you write programs is going to be basically the same no matter what language you're using. So it's, yeah, I don't know if low level is necessary, but familiarity with like at least one kind of language can definitely help a lot, and will definitely help a lot. Okay, let's get this actually into the game now. Region 2 or region 1. Let's just duplicate this. Region 1, scene decorations. Okay, notoriety region 1, place scenes, delete this, quick load, windmill. All right, let's see what that does. My roadblock is to code the whole deck building system, but on second thought, I need to start with the combat scene first. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you just got to take it one step at a time. So break down those things into as small problems as you can tackle. So, yeah, so maybe where I would start is Probably, yeah, probably start with the, because if you're building a deck building combat game, then yeah, you need to build up the combat system. Like you need to get something in place that can take the cards that the player is choosing to play and then apply their effects. Now there's a lot there, right? You need to handle a lot. I'm trying to think of where I would start if I was doing that. What I would do is I would create a very basic card scene that just hard codes like it applies some damage. So create a very basic card scene, just one card type, apply some damage, and then get it so that, and then create a system that wraps that where if I click on a card or if I drag the card into the play area or whatever, it applies that damage to, it doesn't even need to apply the damage. It can just log that the damage was dealt, right? And build a supporting system to get that much to work. So the goal, the initial goal would be to have a card that applies damage and then to execute that card when the player drags it or selects it for playing. And you don't even need to make it do anything more complex than just like log the damage that it does, right? And that should be enough to get you started. And then you just keep refining and building layers of abstraction on top of that, right? So then you might eventually move into like, okay, well, I need to have multiple different cards with different abilities. So you need to come up with a system for just calling like a generic execute method that will then take the card and execute the properties. And you might have a card that heals. So now all of a sudden, instead of doing damage, you need to heal. And so now you need to build out the system to allow that to happen. So it's, you just build it up from the bottom. You're not going to be able to top down do it all. Look, we got windmills. These are probably a little bit too frequent, but also I don't like the pattern that's being done. So let me do this. I do have to go. I just forgot that I have a meeting to get to, but let me just edit this real quick. Get rid of these things. These are creating some unnecessary noise here. And I'm also going to change this to 256, spread those out more. Do you remember the game Sacrifice? I would like to create some kind of spiritual success for that. I've heard of that, but I haven't played it. Familiar with GD script count? Yes, yeah. Sacrifice, one of my childhood favorites. Okay, there we go. We got some windmills. I think they are too close to the road, though, so I'm going to need to fix that, but that's all right. Yeah, this is not a great configuration there. So I'm going to need to fix that placement, but okay, I do need to get going to a meeting though, so thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it, as always. I don't know what we'll be doing tomorrow. We might do some more map stuff tomorrow, but I also might finish this stuff or get this nearly finished today. So we'll see, but add windmill. I'm going to need to fix that windmill placement stuff as well. So we'll figure it out, but thanks again, everyone. Again, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. It's linked in the description below, and you can also join the Discord, join the Patreon, all that good stuff. Again, the goal for this month is to get the next playtest of Alchemortis out the door for the end of the month. So we're working towards that. Everything I do this month is going to be in service of that goal, and hopefully it goes well. So anyway, have a good day, everyone. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, where I'll be back streaming, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.